Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The topic I'm going to present today is Pidgin and Creole. Before defining these terms, I would like to tell what this word Pidgin means in different languages. In Chinese, this word means business. In Portuguese, this word means occupation or job. In South American language, similarly, it means people. So this tells how a single word meanings refers from language to language. But in English, we define this term as a simple speech form used as a mean of communication among people who do not share a common language. That's very simple. When two or more people are living together or sharing some sort of relation and they do not understand their language, so they start to make some other language and start borrowing the words from their own language and maybe from any other language which they understand and form a new platform to communicate with each other. That thing is called Pidgin in English. So usually this Pidgin have limited power and do not last long because it is spoken by a very few people and it's on a very small domain. So therefore it doesn't last longer and just fade away with passage of time. Talking about the characteristics of Pidgin, vocabulary and grammar are very limited and often drawn from several languages because Pidgin is drawn from other languages, so it's obvious that its vocabulary must be drawn from other languages, and does not have that proper strengthened vocabulary and grammar. And and yes, most important thing, it also refers as a trade language because Pidgin in the beginning have invented by the people who were sharing some sort of trade relations or doing some business together, and they just formulate a language and to communicate that just then called Pidgin. There are no native speakers and used in restricted domains and functions. It is a product of multilingualism because many people are using different languages, and those multilingualism or multi-language system then give a birth to a new thing that is called Pidgin. And examples of Pidgin here I mentioned is Chinook Wawa, Liberian Pidgin English, and Gibnawa. Talking about Chinook Wawa, this is basically a simple Pidgin which was generated by the people who were doing trade in Pacific Northwest and then started spreading through 19th century to the Colombia and then to Washington, British Columbia, and some parts of Alaska, Northern California, and many other places. Moving on to Creole. Keep that in mind when we discuss this thing, Pidgin, there's always a word Creole with it. So Creole is basically developed from Pidgin, or maybe we can say the product of Pidgin. A Creole language, or simply Creole, is a stable language that developed from simplifying and mixing of different languages into a new one with a fairly brief period of time. When the Pidgin language remains for a long time and spoken by the next generation of people who invented particular Pidgin, so then it is called Creole. Yes, the people who generated a Pidgin and then they transfer this language to the second generation and they start using it, then that society has begun its Creole as its first language, and it's called Creole. Characteristics of Creole involve it is a product of Pidgin, or the Pidgin that has basically grown up. It has native speakers because a society's first language becomes Creole. And Creole is used in all domains of life. It's normal, natural language, but with an unusual history. Obviously, because Pidgin is like an unusual invention, so therefore it has an unusual history. Have a raw form of grammar that is not fully developed grammar, and Creolistics or Creology is a study of Creole language. Example is Haitian Creole and Gula. So talking about Haitian Creole, this is a French-based Creole language. It is spoken by 10 to 12 million people worldwide. It is one of the two official languages of Haiti. That's it, and thank you very much.